So this video is designed to show you a couple of things which are really important. The first is we want to load the data analysis Toolpak. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to File. The location of this varies a little bit depending on whether you have a Mac or a PC, but generally it's under File and Options. If you can't find it, doing this, if you have a different version of Word, you might see a big button. Okay, you might have to click on that, but you should see something that says Options. I'm going to click on that, and there's a lot of different things I can do here, but I'm going to click on Add-ins. Okay, and I'm just going to click on Toolpak, and it's automatically going to say, do you want to add this? And I'm going to say go. So click on Add-ins, Analysis Toolpak, and go. Okay, and it's going to give you this little this little box, this little thing here, and basically all we really need is this. It's not a bad thing to put these in though. Okay, they can come in handy if you do more statistics or more analysis. And I'm going to click OK. All right, I already have it loaded, so it won't do anything. But what it should do for you is when you click on data, now you should see this thing right here. Okay, and this is a really important option in Excel. Without Excel, Excel loses a lot of its functionality. We're going to have to use data analysis for a lot of things that we do in Excel. It's mandatory, so you really have to learn how to do this. And let's just have some fun. Let's do a random number generation. This is something that comes in handy. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to make some random numbers. And let's see. So I go down here. Okay. And you don't have to do this because I've already put this into your homework set, but I just want to show you how to do it. Okay. And suppose I want to generate a bunch of normal random variables. So I want one variable, I want 100 of them. They're going to come from a normal distribution. And I'm just going to make up something, a mean of 100, we'll say standard deviation of 20. Okay. And now it's going to ask me where I want them. There's always going to be there's this thing called output range, okay? I'm going to click here, and it's already saying A2. So it's going to put 100 random normal variables from this distribution in this column starting at A2. So I'm going to click OK. And it automatically does it. Okay, when we're making a histogram, we always want to order the data values. Okay, I'm going to put my bins here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all of these. So I'm going to want to order them. So I'm going to have to choose them first. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Control-Shift down arrow, and that'll select them all. And under the Data tab, if you're not already there, just go to Sort. And don't say Expand Selection. So what's happening is Excel's a very smart program. It recognizes that there are other things that you could order also. Notice, I don't know if it will let me scroll up. Notice that I have things here also. And so it's asking me if I want to include all of this, and I don't. I just want to use this selection that I have. Okay, I don't want to include these right here. So I'm going to say Sort, and it will ask me from smallest to largest. That's normally how we want to sort. And you can see now they're ordered. Okay. The reason why I want that is because I want to look at the smallest and the largest. So the minimum data value I have is around 52. Okay, I just have to be approximate here. And the maximum is 100 and about 150. Okay, 149, 150. Okay. Now, remember, I want to have at least 6 bins. Okay, I need at least 6 bins. Okay. So if I divide these two, okay, if I look at the range now, and let me just I'm just going to do this real quick. So if I look at the range, I'm going to divide this up now. Equals roughly this minus this. Okay. So I have roughly 100. Okay, a range of 100. I have to put this in at least 6 bins. So this suggests that my interval size should be about 10. So if I make my interval size about 10, then I'll have basically 10 bins, okay? Let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to make my bin size 10. And what that means is I'm going to start at 50. And then I'm going to go up in tens. Okay. So I'm going to do 60. And actually there's kind of a cool little trick I can do. I'm going to say 10 plus this. And when I pull it down, it will automatically add 10. Okay, so notice I say equal 10 plus this. And when I pull it down, it'll just keep adding 10. And I'm going to go up to 150. Whoops. I didn't have to go quite that long. Or you can just type them in. So these are all the values from 40 to 50, then 50 to 60, 60 to 70, etc. Okay, so now I have my bins and my data values. I'm going to make a histogram. And a histogram is really just a table. So I'm going to go to data analysis now, histogram. The input range is my data. So I'm going to click here and say Control-Shift down, or you can just drag it down to the bottom. It doesn't matter. Okay. My bin range are these little subintervals that I've made. Whoops. I needed to click down here. Sorry about that. So let me do it over. Okay, click here, Control-Shift down. I highlighted those. Okay, now I want to choose the bins. So I'm going to click over here, and now these are going to be my bins. Okay. Now notice I'm going to hit labels because notice that I'm including this top row, which is the labels, right? So I'm going to go ahead and say labels. And now I have to specify the output range. Be careful here. Let me show you why. I'm going to click here. Watch where the mouse goes. It goes up here. Okay, so if I click here, it's going to overwrite that. So I have to click here. I have no idea why it does that. Okay, and I'm gonna start the output range at G1. So in the homework, I ask you to start it in F1. So let me go ahead and do that. Let me start in F1. So I'm going to click here. And you'd be really careful what you put there. Okay, so I'm going to start it in F1. I'm going to hit one more time. There. I have no idea why it's doing that. Oh, I know why. Because it's okay. There's nothing wrong. It's just noticing the page. I think that's all. Okay, and I'm going to hit OK. And there's my histogram. So it's just basically, you know, a frequency chart. Okay, but I'm not done. I want to plot that. I want to see if the distribution looks normal. So I have to plot this now. So notice these are the values. Let me just write here what these are. These are the values that are less than 50. And you don't have to write this. I just want to write this to show you what's going on. Okay. So these are my bins. These are the values between 50 and 60. Okay. In this row right here. Okay. These are the values from 60 to 70. Okay. So this is what a bin is. It's a little subinterval. And I'm just counting the number of values, okay? So this is my bin, 60. It means that I'm looking at the values between 50 and 60. Notice I just have one, right? How many values between 60 and 70? I have 3, okay? Excel, there actually is a way that you can make Excel write something more like this than this, but it's a little hard to do, okay? So anyhow, this is what the bins are doing, okay? But what I want to do right now is I want to plot this. So I'm going to make a scatter plot. I'm going to go up here. Whenever we make a plot, we always choose insert. So I'm going to click insert. I'm going to choose a scatter plot. Okay. Now this does not give me what I want. Okay, I want a bar chart. So remember, we do this sneaky little thing. Change chart type. I move it over here. I'm going to choose column. Hit OK. And now it makes it into, basically, we can take that out. This makes this now into a nice histogram. And usually we bring these in a little bit. It just looks a little nicer. Okay. And that's what the distribution looks like. And I can change this, by the way. You can change the title here. So I could say, histogram of 100 normal random variables. You can add an X label. Okay, and these are things that you're going to have to do for your project. Okay, so I want you to get used to beginning to do these. So the axis title, horizontal. I'm going to display the title below the axis. Okay, so this is going to give me a title for the x-axis. Axis titles, horizontal is the x. I'm going to put below there. And I could just say here, random variable values. And then I can also add a y-axis label. And usually we make it rotated. So I'm just going to say frequency. Okay, and there you go. And normal spelled with one R. That's an abnormal normal. Okay, and there you go. Now notice something. This came from a normal distribution. I cold-bloodedly set this up so that this was normally distributed. But look, it doesn't look that symmetric, okay? So, you have to be careful with data. This is somewhat symmetric, but this is hard to say. So I'd have to go back now. I'd have to do these other diagnostic calculations that are in problem 6. I'm going to look at the mean, the median, the mode, see if they're the same. I'm going to see if the range is the same as 6 times the standard deviation. And finally, if the interquartile range is the same as 4/3 times the standard deviation. But you can see, even when the data is normally distributed, sometimes the plot, just doesn't look that symmetric. That's just how it is. That's how real data is. So normally when we're looking for departures from normality, we're looking for really gross, bad things, okay? Notice that this part looks okay. The only part that's a little suspect is this down here. So based on this plot, I would say there's not strong evidence that it's not normal. Okay, it might not be normal, but I don't see anything really gross, really bad. But it's hard to see, and it does take a little bit of time. Okay. But anyhow, this is how you make a histogram. You order the values, you find the max, the min, the range, you divide it by 6 basically, and you round it off to a nice number. Okay. In other words, this bin size, I could think of this as the range divided by 6. And this is the smallest bin size I could have. And so it makes sense to round this off to 10, to round this down, because then I'll have more bins. Okay? I can have more than 6, but I can't have less. Okay, I hope that helped. I'm going to save this with the homework. You can go back with this and play with this. And it's not a bad idea to try to duplicate this yourself, maybe down here. All right.